Hello, my friend. This is episode 2 in a 4-part series on embodying your sexuality. And in this video, I'm going to be covering what are the biggest blocks to embodying your sexuality, because maybe you're at this place, you're ready to feel alive, connected, more turn on, able to give and receive more pleasure, but you're just not sure how to get there. And so in this video, I'm going to be covering the biggest blocks, the 4 biggest blocks to embodying your sexuality. This is episode 2 in a 4-part series of embodying your sexuality. So make sure and go back to episode 1 if you have not caught that video, and let's get straight into it. Hello, my name is Haley Friend Wilson. Yes, that's my real middle name, grandmother's maiden name. I am an embodiment and somatic sexuality guide, helping people to experience a fuller expression of their creativity, sexuality, and vitality. So, what are the 4 biggest blocks to embodying your sexuality? Block number 1, alcohol and drugs. It's true. Block number 2, porn. I know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Block number 3, not talking about it. Not talking about sex. Block number 4, people pleaser or demander. Okay, either extreme. All right, so let's break that down. Alcohol and drugs. Okay, people, you have to be sober. You have to be sober if you really, truly want to experience embodied sexuality. Why? Because when we're not sober, first of all, it's harder to really tune into our full, true yes or no, as these are sensations, subtle sensations in the body that can be really hard to track if you're not sober, if you're not fully conscious. And so in order also to experience more pleasure, we need to be tapped into the body in a deeper way that is going to be prevented if we're not fully coherent. Okay, so this is especially important if you have numbness, if you have pain, if things aren't always working right, because a lot of times that numbness is coming from a lack of sensation. And I don't know if you've had the experience before on alcohol or drugs where it's like you're going through the motions, but you're not really feeling a lot. So in order to feel more, in order to tap into the body, we have to be sober, people. We got to be sober. And this is especially important also if you've gone through any kind of sexual trauma, if you have any tendencies to disassociate. I understand how it can be maybe a draw to have a drink or to take something because it can help to quell your nerves. But this is honestly not serving you in developing a deeper embodiment and true healing reclamation of your sexuality, because the reason why the pain, the numbness, the shutdown is happening is because usually there's some part of you that's scared, and some part of you that is needing a slower pace, that is needing something different, that is needing certain things to be taken off the table, for instance, like penetration, to feel safe, to fully open up. So these are all kind of subtleties that you need to tune into in yourself to embody your sexuality in a deeper way. And I just want to say that pain, that numbness, that shutdown, things not functioning is not because you're broken, it's because your body is trying to communicate to you that it needs something different. And so in order to listen to what your body needs, to be able to open up, the body will open up, the body will heal and transform and come back into an open state if we are tapped in and listening. But generally, if you're drinking, if you're taking drugs, you're not going to be listening to your body on that level. So that this is one of the biggest blocks to truly embodying your sexuality. Okay, just a little caveat here. Once you've gone through the journey of really embodying your sexuality, tuning into your yes, to your no, de-armoring, doing, different things that I'll talk about in different videos to really come back into your body, to your pleasure, then Sure, I'll say smoking a little bit of cannabis can be amazing. It can be an amazing experience. It can enhance your experience of your sexuality, but that is down the line, okay? All right. Block number 2 is porn. Is porn, people. First of all, because you get accustomed to being the bystander of sex happening instead of the one who's actually having sex. Okay, this is for real, y'all. This is for real. You basically are training yourself that this is something that other people do, that I watch them do, and I don't do. So then when it's your time to do it, your body's like, wait, hold on, okay. Like all these different weird things can happen because you're not accustomed to being the one who is listening to your body, who is performing in the act of sexuality. Also, if you're comparing yourself to porn, if you're thinking, the sex that I have needs to look like this, or I need to look like this, or trying to basically emulate things that you see in porn. People, porn is actually performance sex. Go back to my video on the difference between performance sex and embodied sex. I would say most people who are performing in porn are performing their sexuality just to some extent and not actually feeling it. And so you are actually getting limbically wired, because we are influenced by what we see, to perform your sexuality instead of feel it, to compare yourself to these things, to think that this is how sex needs to look, when instead of actually tuning into authentically what your body wants. So these are all big blocks to really fully embodying your sexuality. There is definitely a time and a place for porn that can be healthy. And I recommend looking at consent-based porn, positive. There's different kinds of porn that are really more consent-based. Cheeks is a great platform if you are into porn. So just be careful with the type of porn you watch, because also they've statistically proven that porn is getting more and more extreme because people are needing to have more and more extreme stimulation to get off. And so the types of things that we are seeing in porn is very far from what a lot of our bodies are really wanting. And so it can be this like very drastic example of what our sexuality is supposed to look like, the pace, the whole thing. So people, this can be a really big block. So be careful. Be careful with the porn, okay? So third block is not talking about it. Not talking about it, okay? If you never talk about sex with your partner, it's not helpful. Okay, one, if you do not feel safe to talk about sex with your partner, this is a big red flag, okay? You need to be able to talk about it. And there is a difference between feeling safe and feeling comfortable, okay? Because I've been practicing talking about sex for years now, and it's still not comfortable. So I'm not saying you should have an expectation that it's like, oh, it's so easy to just chat about our sex life, you know? No, I know it's always probably going to feel like an edge to bring up the conversation about what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want, what could feel better, what you want to explore, what are your fantasies, what are your desires, what's your edge, you know? This is something that for most people is always going to feel a little bit uncomfortable until you keep breaking the ice, until you keep practicing it. So you got to do it, people. You got to do it. It's essential to really cultivate an embodied sexuality, to practice talking about it. And if you are in a relationship where you don't feel safe to talk about sex, then that is a big red flag. If you already feel like you're kind of on eggshells in the relationship, and in order to bring this up, it would just be too much, this is not a good thing, people. Your body is not really going to feel safe to open and explore deeper levels of pleasure and embodiment if you don't actually feel emotionally safe in the relationship. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it at that, okay? And just encourage you, if you really want to embody your sexuality in a deeper way, you need to be in a safe, loving, emotionally secure relationship. All right, the fourth and final block is either extreme of the people pleaser or the demander. Okay, so let me break this down. The people pleaser would be, believing that you are obligated to do something sexually with somebody because they're your partner, because they're your husband, because you've been with them for 10 years, 20 years, because you're first getting together and you want to impress them. No, none of that. You are never obligated to do anything that your body does not want to do. Never, never. Okay? So believing that it's your obligation to perform something sexually because somebody else wants it, because whatever, no. And so if you have this people pleaser mentality of like, well, I need to do this because this other person wants to, this is going to really block your ability to truly embody your sexuality. And let me tell you, the sexiest thing is when we are a full yes to something. If we are begrudgingly doing something or doing something because the other person wants to, but we don't really want to, neither of us are going to experience the full amount of pleasure that is possible. That is only possible when both people are a full yes to what is happening. And then the amount of pleasurable sensations that are flowing through are going to greatly be enhanced. Okay. So if you are with somebody who's pressuring you to do something because they saw it in porn, no. I've had clients that this is the case for. No, this is not love. This is not what a safe, secure relationship looks like or does. And so this leads me to the demander. If you are demanding things of other people, that they try this, that they do this, that they need to perform their sexuality with you, for you, when you want, no, people. Okay, sexual sovereignty. Everybody is responsible for their own pleasure. You are responsible for your pleasure. Nobody else is responsible for pleasuring you. No, they're not. And so if you are in this place where you are maybe unconsciously or subtly demanding sex from someone else or any kind of sexual thing from someone else, you need to stop that, okay? That is preventing you from claiming your full sexual sovereignty, which is your ability to explore pleasure on your own, to give yourself amazing orgasms, which I'm going to talk about in our next video, episode 3. Like, you are preventing yourself from fully embodying your sexuality, and you're preventing someone else. So neither extreme, people, of the people pleaser nor the demander. Okay? And a big way that we break out of all of that is learning to be our own best lover. Really learning how to pleasure yourself. Really learning how to come home to your body, to listen to your body, to open your body. Okay, if you want to experience those bigger sensations, if you want to experience more orgasm, it takes a slowing down and a tuning in and a resensitizing. So in episode 3, I'm going to go into how to embody your pleasure, self-pleasuring in an embodied way. I hope this video has served you, my friend. I really, really do, because we are all so worthy of experiencing pleasure and deep connection in our bodies. And I want to acknowledge that I'm recording this video on the indigenous land of the Siletz, Modoc, and Takelma tribe. It is my deep hope that in acknowledging this, that I can help bring support to the Land Back movement. Links are below if you want to donate to that. And this is what I do with people, okay? I support people. I support people to break out of disembodied, disassociated, disconnected sex, painful sex, any kind of sexual quote-unquote dysfunction into an embodied, pleasure-filled, truly connected relationship to your sexuality and your pleasure. So if you want to go deeper into that, links are below on how you can work with me, connect with me. You can connect with me on Instagram at creativityaslove for some short form content. Thank you so much for taking this in, and truly wishing you a full embodiment of your sexuality, your pleasure, and your full expression. Be well.